My name is Terry LeClair from Sherwood, Prince Edward Island, and I'm the writer. Well, I went to the University of Calgary, and I graduated from there in '09. Maybe it took me a little longer than maybe it should have, but yeah. While I was in Calgary, I was the front man, the lead singer slash songwriter for the infamous JBR. Me and a couple buddies from back home started it, and got a few different members here and there along the way. People would, quit or get kicked out. Other guys would join, but I know that there's nothing I love more than sitting around writing songs with my buddy Neil Sherry, 10-pin. He'd play guitar and I'd write out songs. And I think it really gives a good, realistic feel of what it's like to grow up in a small town and why you do the things you do sometimes. And, like, I don't know if you have an older brother or not, but I do, and a lot of my friends did, and you always, you put your older brother up on a pedestal, right? Like to him, nobody can hurt him. He's invincible. I personally had good parents and came from a good family, so I don't really know firsthand what a life of being abused as a child would be, but I know a lot of guys that do, and so I tried to kind of write on their behalf in a sense, just because I want them to know that that's a totally different lifestyle, a different way of growing up. So I would more relate to Calvin as opposed to Louis. Yeah, I was more of a big mouth, and I used to like going out and causing trouble. Chinstrap's kind of like that kid that grew up only child, you know what I mean? Like, spoiled rotten. He was that kid that had all the toys and just still didn't want to go up and play with them. but you realize that he's a bit of a badass himself, do you know what I mean? Just because he wears tight Dockers and golf shirts doesn't make him a puss. Louis and Calvin, you can tell, you know what I mean, idolize Lindsay and think he's cool and stuff. But when you fast forward up to Lindsay's life, you realize, you know what I mean, he's not happy with who he is, and he's not happy in the situation he's doing. It's not like these guys are trying to be Scarface. They're trying to do something that is really the only way they know how to move themselves up the ladder. It's ever since I'd be cutting the grass with my yellow Sony Walkman on, or, do you know what I mean, I was on an airplane going across the country to, you know what I mean, move to a different spot. I could always bring No Effects and Bad Religion and Pennywise and Rancid with me, you know what I mean. So they always, even when I got stressed out about stuff, or when I got, you know what I mean, like, you know what I mean, get lonely, it was like an old friend that you could just always count on. I went down to That's Entertainment in Sherwood. I think they're still around too, by the way. But anyhow, I went down to That's Entertainment and rented Hardcore Logo. And I remember I had it for 2 nights and I watched it 13 times. I just watched it over and over, and I was like, I thought it was real. I was just like, this is incredible. I thought, oh yeah. I love that movie, man. It changed my life, for sure. I mean, to me, that's bragging rights back home. I still tell the boys, guess what? I think I'm stuck in the '90s, to tell you the truth. I'll always love the '90s. I mean, times of the era are changing, I guess. They always have been, but I mean, I remember the '90s. To me, it just happened yesterday. So, it's not it's not hard to write about the 90s. I know, like, growing up in Eastern Canada, that punk wasn't big in the cities. It wasn't like it wasn't a mainstream thing. It was more about, it was something that belonged to people that, in their minds, other people didn't know about, and it was something that you couldn't take away from them. And I think that's kind of what this film's about.